Hi everybody, welcome back to FRAG-MENTAL. Thanks for joining me. Light from the house of Neandertal.
It's filled with history, magic, and a little bit of mystery. There's one thing for certain. This won't be what you're expecting. Stay tuned to FM.
It's honestly such an honour and a privilege to be able to be a fragrance reviewer and to present something so unique. And here it is. This is Light from the house of Neandertal. Now, I've got to say that this bottle was sent to me for free to give to you an honest review, for which I'm very grateful. This was given to me from the head of the company, Kentaro. He's a very lovely man and very interesting with some of his ideas and his art. To him, this fragrance is an extension of his art form. But apart from the bottle, this video is in no way sponsored. So now that's out of the way, let's get to the bottle and to the notes.
The notes in this are metallic notes, ambergris, enoki wood, galbanum, coriander, orris root, musk, patchouli, cedar and violet leaf.
Before we get to the scent, I've got to talk about this bottle. I've got to say that to me, this bottle truly is a work of art. I found out actually that each bottle is handcrafted one by one. So when you've got this in your hand, know that you've got something very special and unique to you. Interestingly, as I hold this in my hand, it feels very fragile. It feels very handmade. And to that, it really adds to the special uniqueness of it. So an absolutely outstanding, one-of-a-kind presentation. The scent to me is really unique straight off the bat. In fact, what I'd compare it to is the smell of, let's say that you're hiking up a mountain and you get to the top, or as we like to call it, the summit, and you get a cold breeze of icy cold floral air in your face. And that's very refreshing, very nourishing, especially after you've just had a long and hard hike up the mountain. You've got the white florals to begin with, and that's very lovely. And the one thing that I would actually say is that this is clearly inspired by nature and also the ancient world. As we dry down, that lovely natural scent with things like ambergris, which reminds me of a sort of a coastal kind of area, and the wet stone that's in this fragrance, that all dies down very slowly to a more biting, metallic kind of smell, almost as if we're leaving the natural world and progressing onto the more industrial world that we live in now. So lovely transition through time and through our history using the art form of perfumery with this. An absolutely wonderful scent. You know, what I really like about this, guys, is that it reminds us of a simpler time in human history, the time of the Neanderthal. I could imagine that life was a lot simpler, but also a lot harder. Survival was literally the key. And just looking at this bottle design, I could imagine that it would have just started with the banging of two rocks. The banging of those two rocks would have helped the Neanderthals to create tools of survival, such as being able to light a fire to keep their loved ones and families warm. And that basic human instinct has kept going through time and history. The white that I see here reminds me actually of the remarkable technologies that we've created, of hospitals, where we have abilities and technologies and skills to heal the sick, look after the elderly, and even save people from near death. And also, it reminds me of one of the greatest creations, the plane, where we can go up and see those white fluffy clouds that we would have watched when we were children. So there's so much into this, not just the scent, it's also the history behind it. The performance is not too shabby, I've got to say. The projection is pretty decent actually. In the high heat, it can also be very good. I'd say that you get an arm's length for a good few hours. As for longevity, this is a straight, usual 8 out of 10 deal for me. Of course, guys, you've got to test this on your own skin so that you can really understand the chemistry between your skin and the juice. When to wear this? I'd say spring, summertime. This does well in pretty decent heat, but it also works very well in the high heat. Definitely an all-rounder for those warmer seasons. I'd say that it leans a little bit more on the feminine side, but those metallic notes at the end just brings it back to being a unisex scent, which of course is what it's promoted, so almost anybody can wear this. To me, Light from the House of Neandertal is a cracking fragrance. I've got to say that I believe also it achieves something that certain other fragrances don't, such as Creed's Himalaya, in the way that it creates a very airy and natural positive atmosphere. But the thing is that it isn't just the fragrance and it isn't just the scent to me. It's the positive and good image that it gives about humankind, about humanity. We don't always get it right, and there is a lot of bad out there, but I think that on the whole, we are trying to look after each other. I think that we are trying to be pioneers, that we are trying to create technologies and belief systems that will ultimately help each other. And with that, I really feel as though Light promotes the idea that we should try to leave this world better than when we first came into it. So with that, crikey.